Hello, hello. Welcome to the One Story at a Time. I'm Brenda, and I'm really excited for today's episode because today is not just a story, it's a story about power. It's a story about agreements made quietly, about who decides, and about who is left out. In Brazil, during the early years of the Republic, there was a political arrangement later called coffee with milk politics. And this video explains what that means in simple language and why it mattered. And this is a video podcast for people who want to use English, not just to study it. Here, you listen first, then you learn how to turn listening into real practice. So I'm really happy to have you here with me today. After Brazil became a republic in 1889, the country did not suddenly become democratic in practice. Voting existed, but it was limited. Many people could not vote, others were pressured or controlled. Political power was concentrated in the hands of regional elites, especially landowners. Two regions were the strongest: São Paulo, rich from coffee; Minas Gerais, strong in agriculture and political influence. These regions had resources, influence, and strong local political machines. Instead of fighting each other, the elites from these two regions made an informal deal. They agreed to take turns controlling the presidency. One term, a president supported by São Paulo. Next term, a president supported by Minas Gerais. No official document, no public announcement, just an understanding among those in power. This is why historians later call it coffee with milk politics. Coffee representing São Paulo, milk representing Minas Gerais. Power did not circulate freely. It rotated inside a very small circle. Most of the country was not part of this agreement. Other states had little influence. Urban workers had almost no voice. Poor and rural populations were excluded. Elections happened, but outcomes were often controlled through local political bosses, pressure on voters, manipulation of results. So while leadership appeared to change, real power stayed in the same hands. The system was stable, but it wasn't inclusive. This arrangement lasted for decades because it worked for those in control. Elites protected each other's interests, conflicts were minimized, economic power stayed concentrated, most people had no tools to change the system. There was no strong national opposition yet, and institutions were weak. Silence helped maintain the agreement. Not everyone knew the rules, but everyone felt the results. Eventually, the agreement failed. Economic changes, urban growth, and political dissatisfaction made the system unstable. In 1930, the arrangement collapsed, leading to a major political shift and the rise of new forms of power. The quiet agreement could no longer hold. This is not just a Brazilian story, it's a pattern. When power rotates only among elites, democracy becomes limited. When agreements are made quietly without public participation, most people are shut out. You can see versions of this dynamic in companies, institutions, and politics around the whole world, unfortunately. That's why this story still matters. So, this was not a story about coffee or milk. It was a story about who holds power, how they hold it, and who is excluded. And the most important question remains: who really decides? In the next part of this episode, yes, we'll have the second part of this coffee with milk story here. You will learn how to turn this story into real English training with listening, interpretation, and simple language you can actually use whether you're a beginner or an intermediate learner. Because here, the goal is not to memorize English, is to use it. Until next time, one story at a time. Bye bye.